A, ByuN, Solar, Maru, GuMiho. Africa TV, Freak Up Studio, live. 2023 GSL Season 2.
Welcome back. That was a short TBT.
I think both games under 10 minutes.
Very, very fast games. And so ByuN falls out. I think ByuN, he can hang with some of the best of the best, but Maru just, you know, he knows ByuN in and out. He knows the kind of play. Maybe 10% more conservatively than he normally does, play a little bit safer, and basically let ByuN feed into him. And so, yeah, I mean, that's it. ByuN falls. I would have liked to see him get further along here, but we've got Maru versus Solar now. Now, Solar, I got to say, he's had a very exhausting day. He's had some long-ass TVZs here. Maru, you know, he died out to GuMiho. There was that one long TVT, and then he beat ByuN very fast. I don't always bring up stamina, but these two players have had two very different journeys to get to the final match here for Group A.
Yeah, Maru having a little bit of a breather while his opponents played, and then such a quick series against ByuN has to be a good feeling. A lot of momentum coming into this match, whereas Solar, as you said, two series, both going distance, 2-1, very closely matched. Maru, he was watching those games too. I mean, they're happening right now, so you got to see Solar kind of dissect these Terran players when he won. You got to see Solar falter when he lost. Probably has a little bit of a better idea of what his approach should be against Solar now in this series.
And Maru, a very different Terran from GuMiho, a very different Terran from ByuN. I mean, this is really the ultimate test here for Solar and his ability in the matchup ZVT. Let's see how he does.
2023 GSL Season 2. Onside Gaming, Maru. Onside Gaming, Solar.
So we've got a wall-in down here at the bottom. Getting vibes of ByuN, but I don't think this is going to be a ByuN. Oh, hold on.
Hey, there's the gas.
Is there a second Rax? Did Maru let ByuN play instead of him after he beat him?
Did he learn?
Is
he
it
defeats him and now he absorbs his powers.
He absorbs his power, he absorbs his abilities. He's like, now you've unlocked the 2 Rax Reaper expand.
Just gonna be a 1 Rax expansion here for Maru, most likely. Solar playing really safe. Hatch pull gas. Nothing really out of the ordinary. Welcome to the studio, fellas. So good to have you here.
Staying late into the night. No doubt spamming in Twitch chat. He's spamming in the chat right now.
I told you GuMiho was going to advance in first place. I told you.
He's flaming someone else in the chat. So this is not the same build, by the way.
Nah, just a 1 Rax expansion. Looks like it'll be a factory right behind this too, so not even going to be a 2-on-1 based on all the gas that Maru has banked up. And this means a little bit less map control here for Maru. And actually should be able to get this Overlord as well.
Yeah,
that's a nice pick. I mean, this is more than Terrans generally get from a Reaper, right? So
yeah. No, oh, okay.
There's always going to be an angle for this one.
No, he knows the exact pixel, man, where nothing can reach it.
It's plant fertilizer now.
If the Overlord even breathes too heavily and its sides go too far out, it could shut. It's crazy.
It affects the range.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, a very different type of game here from anything that Solar's played already. You know, not the Reapers hunting the drones. or the weird mech style that, you know, I think GuMiho pretty masterfully disguised in the first game. Instead, you know, it's Maru kind of, in my head, I always say single player. Like, he's just really trying to get ahead in his own build. He's doing, you know, the bare minimum to defend. He's trying to get all the tech up and upgrades up and really get some muscle out there. It's so different from ByuN, who just likes to kind of be active with you and engage with you and get his units out right away and try to make solutions and be creative and get ahead or get kills or scout or whatever. Maru very much like, I'm going to have a little tactic to get your overlord, and then I'm not playing with you until I'm ready.
Yeah, just a little bit of harassment prepared here for Maru, and beyond that, probably going to play the game pretty much as you described. As he is one of those Terran players that knows that success lies within Tasteless. He's very introspective like that. He's going to focus on his own gameplay, focus on his macro, and when he moves out on the map, you know, being Maru and being so on point with his macro generally just has a little bit more than your average Terran. And, you know, should you be able to survive the mid game here as Solar, it also becomes an increasingly difficult problem for you given how talented Maru is. Easily the best in the world at navigating late game TVZ.
Yeah, well, he was the first guy that really showed that, like, it's actually not a problem, guys. Terran have a solution. Maybe I'm the only one that can do it. But you can play. And he was the guy that was, like, basically proving, okay, well, Zerg's not totally busted. You just got to know how to outlast him. Now, this is an unusual move out. Stim, no medevacs, but also a Banshee with Cloak. By the way, good block to keep the Ling inside. But this is interesting. You know, anytime you're on the map and you don't have medevacs, but you have, like, Stim Marines, you're kind of playing with fire. Now, in this game, he didn't actually commit across the map, but instead that Banshee's going to come out.
Yeah, I think he was moving around the timing that the medevacs would come out to make Solar think it's going to be a 16 Marine with 2 medevac push and try and get some damage done. And maybe because this went unscouted, he would be able to get a lot of damage done, either in the main base or the natural.
I
Solar,
think you nailed it, State. 100%. That's exactly what he wanted to do.
But Solar did have a Spore Crawler ready there in the main base. None here at the natural expansion, so there's a lot of lost mining time. Transfuse is actually coming in on these drones, so only 4 in total are going to go down. And there is a Spore here at the 3rd as well. Solar, in a number of his games, you know, both in the round of 16 and here in the round of 8, especially, I think it was on the same map on Babylon, whenever he goes against something like this and he's not sure there's going to be Cloak, he always skips the Spore Crawler of the natural expansion. So I wonder, you know, should Solar advance today, whether players will start to abuse that a little bit against him, because if I'm a Terran, I see those 2 games, you know, that's a pattern now, right? I'm just going to beeline the Banshee into that nat and see if I can get some kills.
The drop's going to come in later on, and we'll see how ready the Zerg is. Solar needs to be prepared here. Nice kind of sliding unload.
Oh, that's a great position.
You get wedged in those minerals, man. It's a problem.
Oh, this is going to be such a favorable trading for Maru. Oh, Solar's in a lot of trouble, Tasteless. Marduk. As Solar
the Babylonian god.
So much damage. Okay, thank goodness for Solar he was able to kill one of those medevacs there, because if Maru got out basically scot-free, that would have been a disaster for him. I mean, Solar lost a lot of mining time. 4 more drones went down. A lot of the Ling count basically got reset with what a horrible engagement that was there within the mineral lines. Is, you know, Solar just really didn't have enough when push came to shove, and Maru even fighting more damage here, gets a cancel on what would have been the triangle third. Kills the Overlord as well.
That was kind of remarkable.
Yeah,
the way he got in there, and it just did so much damage. I think that this, if the medevac was not killed, it could be much worse, but let's see what this push can do. This is actually not going to be that easy for Solar.
Yeah, +1 infantry weapons is done for Maru. Baneling speed about to finish here for Solar, but not all the Banelings. Actually, no, hold that thought. 13 of them on the map. That is a good amount.
You notice how he just swapped the medevacs out, by the way?
Yeah. Low HP goes in the back. Solar might be gunning for another counterattack with this.
It looks like it's that, or he's going to try to intercept. I've seen him do this before. It seems like you basically, like, stay out on the map. If they're kind of slow dripping units across the map, you hit it. If not, you just use it to sandwich. But Maru's also set up to not have to deal with that, or a counterattack for that matter. Yeah, see, he's completely ready.
Yeah, Solar's just gonna poke up the ramp, and Maru's smart to see this tactic. And,
like
he might get a couple of queens there. There's two that are very low with almost no transfuse energy available. Any queen picks are just money in the bank here for Maru.
And I mean, from here, this little outpost push, it's still not being killed. The tanks are so perfectly placed, it seems like the queens actually can't reach them if they run up there.
Yeah, more queens went down as well. Queen count all the way down to 6 now. And that's says a lot considering Solar has been producing them. Even he's making 4 queens at a time at this moment. Maru just being so cost efficient. Finally, +1 carapace is done here for Solar, but this base so bruised from that Banshee means those drones are not going to be able to mine as efficiently as they want. Have to go back to the 3rd base here as the main base already halfway mined out for Zerg. And Maru just feels like he has so much momentum. Solar has to do something to start to whittle away at this. He does get a nice surround here on the siege tank, so those will be cleaned up, but 16 Marines escaping without too much harm, and this position still hasn't been broken yet. Oh, that medevac's so low. I mean, both those medevacs are 1 HP.
Something tells me this should not have been here for this long.
Yeah, for
I mean,
sure.
that is gotten so much value.
I mean, at this point, if I'm Maru, I'm just going to pack up and go home. Those medevacs are so low on HP. You know that you're kind of on a timer.
Well, I think he knows the hatchery down here. He's killed it once. He could just keep hitting this because of that little outpost there. It's like, well,
that's true.
You actually would play that expecting that to eventually have been killed off.
Yeah, that is a very good point. The medevacs just get barely enough vision. And Solar just hasn't really been able to commit the forces to actually try and break this. That's crazy. Maru's swinging so far ahead.
So bad.
That's a disaster.
It's so bad, man. That's brutal.
Hydrolist and now under construction, but Solar, he's at a 3-base economy against. Oh, excuse me. Banelings and Lings now coming in. Really nice surround on those 3 tanks, but off creep they cannot contest these Marines, which means this bottom left base, unless that creep spread somehow miraculously gets revitalized here, you got to think Maru is going to be knocking on that door yet again. The siege tank's in the back now, tasteless.
I know. He's been retired now. He's done enough.
Yeah.
Put him out there. Put him out to pasture.
Reassign.
All right. Even better.
They start shelling those little, what are they? Are they pig people? It's like pink teddy bears almost.
Yeah. The piglets or whatever. Another drop comes into the main. I don't know, man. This game has become obscure enough. I actually think Solar might just die out in kind of a weird way.
Oh, I absolutely think that's where this game is heading. He's been at a 3-base economy against a 3-base Terran for way too long. And Maru's been so cost efficient behind all of it. He should get another medevac. Yeah, that's a big one too. But this base, once again, is going to get taken out. 2-2 is underway here for Maru, about 75% completion. So that paired up with vehicle weapons, once Maru finally gets his whole army together, which, might I add, is about 10 supply ahead of Solar, despite trading out all these units for, you know, hatchery kills and drone kills. I feel like Solar's in a big pickle. I mean, the queen count has to be so low, too.
It looks like he wants to counterattack. I don't know if it's going to work.
There's just too much. I mean, 3 siege tanks here and all of these Marines, there's no way you're going to be able to push into that off creep.
How long have these tanks been here? I have to remind myself it's the same tanks from the original push.
I was completely wrong about this. Like I said, I would have packed them up and sent them home. That's why I'm not Maru. Like, Maru recognized that this is such an actual problem for Zerg to dislodge, and now finally Solar's going to come in. He had to wait for Hydras, but this is not going to be cost efficient. And it takes basically a force field there, just blocking all the units out. And oh no, the Hydra's coming off creep to try and intercept that siege tank. They get it, but now they're caught off guard. I think this might be it, Tasteless.
It feels like it.
More reinforcements are coming in for Solar, but these Hydras are doomed.
Execution.
The army supplies right now double in favor of Maru.
GG.
Wow. That was a brilliant TVZ.
That was crazy. I mean, I can't believe how well that went. I got to sneeze. You talk.
Oh, that's what you were doing? I saw you. I was like, Tasteless, it was impressive, but...
I'm trying to look in the light. You look like I'm having some kind of emotional moment. I'm like, the tanks were there for so long.
Staring up the ceiling.
I'm trying to look into the stage light to try to make my pupils dilate so I sneeze, and now it's gone.
I thought you were like that character from Queen's Gambit, just trying to like move all these Zerg pieces. Like, how do I dislodge the siege tanks from the mineral line? What could Solar have done?
Oh my gosh.
That fantastic game from Maru. I mean, that was his domination from start to finish, and it was very incremental too. It felt like it was truly chip damage. There was never one fell swoop up until the end that actually swept the rug out from Solar. It was just the fourth base continuously getting denied. All of these small favorable trades going for Maru from the very beginning, starting with a double drop in the main mineral line and then just building momentum from there. Maru looks really scary in TVZ right now, man.
He does. He did seem to have a very good build as well. A good setup. He got in there, killed those drones. He got that Overlord even before that. He got those tanks in there, and from there he kind of ran away with the show. I think, you know, Zerg has to come up with a solution. It did seem like Maru had like the magic spot on the map where the tanks can't be hit. And also by Queens easily, and can't be surrounded either by Lings. And he did that all before the Baneling's nest was up, and from there he was able to strike the bottom spot over and over and over.
Yeah, Maru just showing relentless aggression. We'll see if Solar can keep up. Match point now in round of 8, Group A, final match. One of these players booking the second ticket to the semifinals. Feels like we might have two Terrans again, Tasteless.
Bring it on. It's what we dreamed. The dream is real, guys. All right, let's go.
2023 GSL Season 2. On-site gaming, Maru. On-site gaming, Solar.
Thought for a moment we're getting proxy racks, but
nope.
Maru just taking a page out of ByuN's book here.
Yeah, gonna go with a racks on the low ground. Here we've got hatchery first as well from Solar. That was a bit of a humiliating game for Solar. I feel like normally Solar is one of the Zergs who's actually so good at kind of staying on top of everything and being very hard to kind of topple. But in that game, I mean, that was brutal. And I don't know if I should chalk it up to exhaustion. I did kind of mention earlier, I mean, these are really long games he's playing here. TVZ.
Yeah, 2 series going the full distance, and very competitive series that must have taken a lot out of Solar. And now coming up against Maru, who very well could be the final boss of this matchup.
Yeah.
I want to say, by the way, interesting build coming out of Maru. I mean, it is still like 1 barracks, 1 gas, and an expansion, but the refinery timing was quite cool. I think he waited until he had 16 SCVs on minerals because it went down like a minute and 5 seconds, which is so late. Just really prioritizing the minerals here as Maru makes me think we might see a second barracks in production quite early.
Oh, he did. Okay, he's gonna
Maybe
find
I'm
this.
getting ahead of myself, but
No, I think you're probably right.
it's a cool opening.
It's the same tactic, by the way.
Yeah. He's gonna get it again. And 2 barracks in production, Tasteless.
Ugh, not like this. This is rough. He's gonna go back
like,
over
wait,
there.
wait. The barracks, it moved. Maybe there's a chance. Yeah, 3 racks opening.
When you kill the Overlord, it just kind of turns into old meat and falls down from the sky. You ever notice that?
Mm-hmm. Imagine if we got to harvest those resources. The Overlord just dies, you just get to harvest its meat. The food, the third resource. I don't think they would taste very good. They don't look,
well, you need ketchup, but yeah, I mean, probably not.
Probably need more than that, man. Gotta slow cook these things.
So This is a different build, guys.
Yeah, the 3 barracks play here is cool.
Yeah, this is actually kind of. He did unlock all of ByuN's powers.
A little bit.
This is the kind of ByuN move to get the 3 racks out.
I think with a reactor too. Wait, is this double reactor? Is he gonna make 5 Marines? Okay, it's a tech lab in the main base. So 4 Marines at a time. Stem tech pack in production. It'll be very delayed tech here from Maru, and this kind of goes back to that delayed refinery where he's just prioritizing minerals above all else with his opening because he really wants to start building these barracks and these Marines as quickly as possible. And luckily for Solar, he's expanding to the 12 o'clock position. He didn't go for the triangle third, which makes this considerably easier to defend because the rush distance from the Terran Natural to that triangle third quite a bit easier to get to rather than that 12 o'clock position. But this is still a push that we saw in GSL, or at least a variant of this style in GSL Code S last season.
Yeah.
That just completely won the game. And I think it was ByuN that did it in Season 1. In Season 2 here, it's Maru doing it in the round of 8.
This is a good map to do it on, too, by the way.
Yeah. It's a good time in the series to do it, too. I mean, you're up 1-0. It's match point. You don't want, as Solar, you don't want to play too safe because you kind of need the economy to actually scale up with Maru, but also you lost your scouting overlord. You have no idea what's coming out. Any lings that you send out, like this one here on the field, you saw 4 Marines, and yeah, they are moving on the map, but Maru did this last game, and he did it with Cloak Banshees. So how do you make the right read? All right, the second ling comes in, sees a ton of Marines, but there's only 4 lings on the field right now, Tasteless. Stim pack and combat shields are both going to be done. This is a scary position here for Solar.
That is the Baneling's Nest on screen, right?
I think so, yes.
So that's important, too, because you can just kill that. And, I mean, that also is one way that you just win the game, right?
Yeah, Maru, he has 1 stim. There's no medevacs for this push, no upgrades. Stim comes in, he has to get damaged now. Solar is running away, but there are so many Marines. The Lings just instantly get destroyed. Now Queens falling 1 by 1. 4 of them already dead, the 5th one falling. Bailing's now rolling in, connect with 3 Marines. Beyond that, though, the connection's not very good. And Maru, while he will get pushed back, that was a really favorable trade. 24 Marines for 33 Lings, a ton of Queens, resetting the count there for Solar, and behind it, I mean, this is not an all-in. He doesn't have a 3rd command center yet, but he's powering up with more barracks. He's starting siege tank production. He has medevacs underway, +1 infantry weapons. It has begun. Really nice tempo play for Maru to open this one up.
He's so clean with stuff like this. It really is impressive to see. Really, Solar winning that fight because of the 2nd Ling Scout.
Yeah.
Big brain plays. He's like, all right, well, you know, you see 1, you don't necessarily know what kind of commitment it is. But again, the follow-up is immediate, and the 3rd command center is non-existent. This is really him trying to lean into this. The objective for the Terran in this build order is to kill this Zerg in the next couple minutes.
Yeah, and with additional barracks being added, the pressure is just going to continue to mount here as now medevacs are on the field. So Maru pivoting over towards the 12 o'clock, the 3rd base here for Solar. Keep in mind that Queen count, not only did it get reset, but the new Queens, as they're spawning, not going to have quite as much energy as Solar would be used to in a situation like this, and Maru just able to work his way in. Yeah, there's only 8 bays. They're not here. They're coming in. I think they're between the natural and the 3rd base right now, those very slow units moving on the mini-map.
Not abandoning his 1 Marine inside the base.
There's just so much bio coming out from Maru, 36 Marines. I mean, anytime you look at the units tab and there's almost a 1-1 ratio of Marines and Lings, you know the Zerg's in a ton of trouble.
Yeah.
We almost have more Marines than Zerglings on the field.
It's kind of wild. He's going to set this tank right up on the steps. He's going to get another tank, I think, just a little bit more in range. He's got the right spread. He's got the stim. Baneling's speed isn't done, and it's not going to be done in time to deal with this attack. Solar needs to figure out, does he sack the base, or does he just try to dive?
Maru is +1 infantry weapons now. That hatchery so low on HP. Solar has to make a decision. Is he going to go for it? And yes, he does. Coming in on both the north and the south. Nice around. Maru picks up. We'll see if the Banelings can connect. There's no speed to be found. So it's really slow for them coming in. All of the Banelings do get picked off. The siege tank count is reset, but Solar able to hold on to the 3rd base for now.
He stims up again. I mean, this hatch is so low. It's going to be really tough to even try to dance back and forth with these Queens.
The Queens, they have to fight. They don't really have much choice. This third hatchery cannot fall right now for Solar. It's the must-defend position, and now Centrifugal Hooks finally going to finish. Will make this defense a lot easier, but the creep spread has been completely reset. Nice catch by Solar coming in, but Maru is a step ahead with a medevac. Hot pickup right there.
Again, though, this hatchery lives.
Yeah.
For now. It is so low. If there's any sustain on them, he's going to pick it back up. He's like, well, you see it, all right. You know my trick. Good interception. Maru being a little loose with the reinforcements, but that also may create an opening, and Solar's going to sack the hatch.
Yeah, he has to go back to the triangle third now, but this is really going to dampen his economy because he's massively oversaturated on that third base as the main base is slowly running out of minerals. Upgrades have equalized with +1 Carapace here for the Zerg, but Terran starting to eclipse Zerg and army supply, and this is a tough position to fight into as Solar Baneling connections are very good there on the front line, but the follow-ups not solid.
You know what? I think Solar can absolutely just last through this.
Yeah, finally able to break out.
I think Maru, it would have been better off if he backed up and tried to look for another fight. I think trying to push through the top, especially with all the creep on the high ground below you, not a good call. It is still a 2-base Terran, by the way.
Yeah, third base only just now landing here.
So it's only just now going to kick in, which means, like, it's pretty good for Maru, but he hasn't finished the job. He needs to keep Zerg on 3 bases or less.
A lot of Banelings rolling in here will be hard to focus down, so Maru just going to lift up. Behind all of this, Maru is going for 2-2 infantry weapons and armor. No +2 upgrades coming in for Solar just yet. He is so committed to just defending this push right now and trying to reestablish and stabilize back at home that he can't afford to go up to a second evolution chamber and get 2-2 upgrades pumping. So there should be a really large window for Maru a couple minutes from now where he's going to have 2-2 upgrades and vehicle weapons, while Solar is going to be slow to catch up. +2 Carapace only just now begun, but +1 melee attack still waiting to be completed. That window will exist.
Okay, another pickup. Into the main he goes. Does seem like Solar should be prepared to deal with this. And medevacs on both sides, it seems like Solar's doing a pretty good job of basically stopping this.
Yeah, Solar's tracking this really well.
Another drop over here at the top. But again, I mean, Solar basically just hyper vigilant. But with the tanks unsieged, it seems like now we're going to have another real push here, another real commitment. That being said, I mean, Solar dealing with most of these drops pretty well.
And I feel like Maru's going to try and find a timing to coincide with a 2-2 finishing as well as +1 vehicle weapons because he knows he's going to have that edge over Solar for a considerable amount of time, and it seems like Maru has decided that 12 o'clock position is going to be his focal point. He knows the creep spread there is very dismal because of the earlier push that happened, so now stimming in, able to clear these creep timbers right away. And once again, this will be a tough position for Solar to break out of, and keep in mind, there are those 3 medevacs by the triangle third, ready to do some damage. Oh, big counterattack in the cards here for Solar. He's trying to decide whether he wants to sandwich this or go for the counter. All right, 2-2 is done for Terran, but he actually has to evacuate this position. There's just too much Ling and Baneling on the ground. Coming back up to the high ground, we'll try to take down this 5th base. At the triangle third of Zerg, Solar once again pushing him back. Those medevacs pivoting to the main base now.
You know, Solar has really clawed his way back and I think is in a much better position. He's on his 5 bases. These drops seem to be becoming less and less impressive here.
Yeah, if he can survive this window where Maru has 2-2 and Solar is still waiting for those upgrades to kick in, he's going to be really happy, and I think he's getting closer and closer to weathering that storm. But keep in mind, the Marine count is very high here for Maru.
God, Maru, look at that. Just this endless string of units coming out here. This 5th base should fall.
This could be a difficult position for Solar because the army supply for Maru is so high. He only has 14 Banelings right now. And that means that should those Banelings get taken out, there isn't very much damage sustained from Solar against the army for Maru. He really needs really good connections here with these Banes, but it's going to be tough against the staggered force.
I mean, this is such a good push here. Nice blinding clouds. How far back does this chain of defense go?
Able to kite back into reinforcing siege tanks here as Maru is fighting off creep. There aren't too many more Banelings left for Solar, and Maru once again hitting the 3rd base during all of this. It just seems to have so much, and now these Hydras are exposed. They're going to fall on the front line. GG is called, and Maru will join GuMiho as the 2 Terrans to advance from Group A in the round of 8.
That was unreal. I gotta say, I thought this was gonna be probably like an hour-long best of 3.
Yeah.
Maybe even more, maybe even like an hour, 15, 20 minutes because of the 2 players that were playing this. Maru made that look like a cakewalk.
Yeah, that final game was very close, but Maru just had enough to finally edge Solar out. And I mean, this was a difficult group from Solar for start to finish. He had an admirable showing against Maru. Let's hear what the winners had to say.
Yeah. Maru gets out second, by the way. That leaves only 2 spots left in the round of 4, which we will be broadcasting for you guys on Thursday. Same time, same place. Congratulations, Maru. Thank you. It was a tough series for you tonight. Let's talk about that match against GuMiho. That's where you were knocked into the elimination match. But regardless, you made it to the semifinals 4 consecutive times. How do you feel? Honestly, I thought I was going to get eliminated today. So I'm glad I'm not. The pressure was so impressive. Against ByuN. What a short game that was. Series, sorry. Tell us more about the matches. Though in those matches, I just felt like ByuN's condition wasn't that good, so he went my way.
일단 질문을 이어간다면 내내 이제 좀 리플레이 보면서 아 이걸 왜 졌자고 아쉬워했었는데 고병 선수의 인터뷰를 들었을 때 납득이 됐나요? 이해가
So you're constantly watching the matches against GuMiho.
사실 제가 잘했으면
You kept saying you didn't understand how you lost. But after listening to GuMiho's interview, do you feel like you fully understand what happened back there? No, I am definitely still confused. I really thought I was about to close that out until I didn't.
8강 이제 B조의 대결이 이제 다음 목요일에 펼쳐지게 되는데 여기서 만나게 될 상대
We're gonna have the quarterfinals Group B matchup.
그래서 이제 B조에서 1를 차지하게 되면
There's Dark, Hero, Pure, and DY. Who are you gonna face?
좋겠다. 근데 안
Who
될
do you
것
want to
같아요.
face?
전 희망이고 예상은
TY, please.
일단은 준호 형이 1등을
That's my hope, but my prediction, I think it'll be Hero who actually gets out first.
이어서 지금 테란들 그럼 준호 김조 선수 올라간 다음에 이제 4테란 막는 건데요. 네. 그리고 그럼 김조 선수 외에 또 누가 올라갈 거라고 생각하세요?
솔직히 다 잘해가지고 비조는 누가 올라와도 안 이상할
Talking about the last season, sorry, the other group, who else do you think will make it?
전태양을 포함해서 한 얘기가 맞나요?
So this is a tough group, so whoever makes it, it's not going to be that shocking.
아니라고 말하네요.
예, 알겠습니다. 자, 그러면 이제 이번 시즌도 굉장히 힘든 상황에서 패자전 내려온 상황에서도 승리를 따내면서 이제 4강까지 올라오게 됐는데 이번 시즌 목표 한 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
4강이 목표였는데 이루게 되었습니다.
와! 축하드려요.
After that tough series, you had to go through the elimination matchups.
이제 목표가 없어.
이제 마음
Any words you'd like to say?
마음 비우고 편하게 하면은 솔직히 저번 시즌도 마음 비우고 편하게 해서 우승했거든요.
Well, my goal is to get to semifinals. I've already achieved my goal.
나오지 않을까 싶어요.
But actually, last season, when I didn't really focus on my goals so much, I think I played pretty well.
오늘 뭐 항상
So,
많이 와주셔서 너무 감사하고
I think the results will follow that relaxed mindset. Words to the fans?
더 잘하는 모습 보여드리겠습니다.
Thank you. Please keep supporting me.
다시 한번 축하드리고 그럼 끝으로 이 조정주 선수를 잡아내기
Since I made it to the semis, I'm going to show an even better performance than I did today.
선수에게 한 말씀.
솔직히 열심히 하면
Any words to
태양이
TY?
잘하는데 좀 열심히 했으면
Who's working so hard at the moment?
알겠습니다. 네, 다시 한번 축하드리고 4강
TY practices really hard.
축하드립니다.
감사합니다.
I think he can make a big splash. Hope he practices hard enough. All right, well, there you have it, guys. GuMiho and Maru advance. GuMiho, I mean, he's kind of stealing the show here, getting out first like this. The way he's playing, he's showing a real range. He's always had good stamina.
Absolutely, but he didn't even need it today. Just
He didn't even need it,
2-0 over Maru, 2-1 over Solar. Solar series was fantastic. Maru series, if you missed that one, you got to go back and watch it. I feel like both those games, very different, very dynamic. Highly entertaining TVTs, and now we know our first 2 semifinalists, GuMiho and Maru. GuMiho will face the second place finisher from Group B on Thursday. Maru will face the first place finisher from that Group B And it should be a really fun top 4. I think Group B, it's hard to predict with Dark, TY, Kira, and Hero. I would be surprised if Kira didn't advance, but I really do think we'll have at least Dark or Hero make it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Hero has a real shot. It's been a dark time for the Protosses. I think realistically, Dark and Hero can get out. I mean, Dark's looked very good. TY and Kira, TY, I really am not sure how he's going to perform here. He's good, but
yeah, he's a bit of a wild card. You know, we haven't
Yeah.
seen much of his gameplay since he's come back from military service, and so for TY coming back and making it all the way to the round of 8 in his first GSL, he wasn't playing in a lot of online cups or anything like that.
Right.
I don't think he's been streaming his gameplay, so there's a lot of questions to be asked, but he's already here in the top 8. He definitely earned his spot. Remains to be seen how far he can go.
And it's very cool to see him come back and play as well as he is, not just his military service, but being a caster as well. It's nice to see him kind of, after he's succeeded in these other roles, come back and then really deliver. So, I mean, if he gets to the Final Four, that would be insane. I'm not sure if it's going to happen. I think it's the least likely outcome out of all the possible outcomes in the round of 8. But if it happens, man, that would be sick. For me personally, fingers crossed Hero makes it.
Yeah, I think just because I would love to have a more dynamic top 4, I would love if Dark and Hero both advance, but my mind says that Kira is playing very well right now. He looked scary in the round of 16. I think he's advancing in first from that group.
I think so. And Dark, I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping we get a Zerg and we get a Protoss. By the way, if you're going to get a ticket, you do so at this link over here. They go on sale every Friday. And what was I going to say? I had something else I had to say. I forgot it.
I think you want to buy those very quickly for the GSL finals. Those are probably going to sell out quite quickly. Even here for the semifinals, we had a quite packed audience despite the weather over the past couple of weeks.
Despite
not being
the fact
best.
that it has only rained in Seoul for 2 weeks, it is like it is almost not worth it to like leave your house to walk to a coffee shop and walk back home. Like the delivery drivers, they are rich and wet nowadays. So, but the finals usually do always sell out. So that's all the time we have. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you in 2 days on Thursday for Group B.